And welcome to Hannity, and also welcome to Biden's disaster of America. Now, tonight, Israeli soldiers, they are on the ground in Gaza battling Hamas. Other units from the IDF, they are clashing with Hezbollah in Lebanon. Americans and hundreds of others, they are still being held hostage underground in Gaza, a network of 300 miles of underground terror tunnels to kill Israelis and to take them hostage. That is the war that Hamas has been waging against Israel, now going on for decades. Now it's time for Israel to win this war. At the same time, we have U.S. soldiers in Iraq and Syria. They continue to come under attack from Iranian proxies all around the region. We have two powerful U.S. carrier strike groups that are now in the Mediterranean Sea, not far from Israel. Now, keep in mind, this is your state of the world under your president, Joe Biden. And another massive war still raging close by, with hundreds of thousands dead in Ukraine and millions displaced, and Joe wanting to basically fight a proxy war with Russia and not causing Europe to pay their fair share. Back at home, what's going on here? China is buying up acres, thousands of acres of farmland and ranch land in our country and near U.S. military installations, all while threatening our allies and our soldiers in the Pacific, when they are not flying their spy balloons, gathering intel over our military bases, or confronting our fighter jets in international airspace or our Navy in international waters. Well, this is what the Chinese do, and they're getting away with it. Meanwhile, look at the economy. Inflation is through the roof. Houses now are unaffordable, over 8% for a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage. And in our country, a level of anti-Semitism, outright left-wing bigotry and hatred, it is on the rise in a way I never thought I'd see in my lifetime, and I doubt many of you thought you'd see in yours. And by the way, have you noticed the border is an utter disaster? Under Joe Biden, over 8 million illegal immigrants will cross into this country by the end of this year, maybe as high as 9, maybe as high as 10 million. That is roughly the population of New York City. This is your State of the Union under Joe Biden, your president. This includes, by the way, at our border, 659 people from Iran. Why are Iranians coming to our border? 538 from Syria, along with thousands of other special interest aliens from the Middle East. Why are they coming here? Who's paying for them to coming here? Why isn't there any real vetting of the people crossing that border? Because I'll tell you right now, the next 9/11 is almost certainly being plotted and planned from inside our country. Thank you, Joe Biden. Now, to the Democrats watching this program tonight, the ones that voted for Joe Biden, I ask you tonight, are you happy? Are we not better than this? Is this what you wanted? Is this what it looks like when, quote, the adults are back in charge? Because in 2021, it was Joe Biden who promised to lower the temperature, unite the country. He said our borders were closed and secure. They have lied to us again and again and again. But after 3 years of nothing but weakness, lying, dishonesty, confusion from a guy, frankly, that can barely speak or walk, the world is imploding, and America is even more divided than ever. Weakness always invites this kind of chaos. But don't worry, because according to his brilliant vice president, Joe Biden is alive and running for re-election. He's actually alive. What a standard. Take a look.
We were talking to some Democratic donors, and they have told us that should something befall President Biden and he is not able to run, that there would be a free-for-all for who would run as president. You are in the spot that would be unnatural for you to step up, but we're hearing from donors that they would not naturally fall into line. Why is that?
Well, first of all, I'm not going to engage in that hypothetical because Joe Biden is very much alive and running for re-election. So
but you do know, I mean, that is a concern, and a legitimate concern, I would say.
I hear from a lot of different people a lot of different things.
But Joe Biden is very much alive. Well, really, is that his big attribute at this point? That's the standard? That's some standard? The world is in turmoil. It is in chaos. It is in disarray because America has now abdicated its leadership role on the world stage. One main source of that turmoil, of course, is the Islamic Republic of Iran. The country that Joe wants to give billions and billions of dollars to, like after gifting the mullahs of Iran billions in revenue. The administration doesn't seem to have any plan at all to deal with the terror that is unleashed by Iran. He helped Iran get, well, basically richer than ever because he eased up on their ability to sell oil on the world stage. Take a look.
And what's the message to Iran?
Don't.
As President Biden said, just don't.
Exactly. One word. Pretty straightforward.
Joe says don't. Kamala says don't. Don't what? You think you're in good hands? Which is troubling to say the least. America and the world, we are now at a very critical inflection point. I'll tell you, as just a political observer, been doing this a long time, I've never felt a sense that things are this dangerous and this out of control, not only for this country, but for the entire world. This is not a conservative versus liberal moment. This is not Republican versus Democrat either. Right now, it's a battle between good and evil, freedom versus tyranny, and especially religious tyranny, civilization versus terrorist brutality that apparently a lot of people don't have the moral clarity to see. Just look at the anti-Israeli protests erupting not only all across our country and the globe. You don't see many American flags, do you, unless they're on fire. You also won't see many peace signs, but there are a lot of posters for a global intifada, which is a holy war against non-believers. You will hear demands for Israel to immediately call for a ceasefire, but you'll almost never hear a bad word about Hamas, the terror organization. Instead, you get signs like this one in New York City condoning rape and torture and murder of women and children, and even beheadings, quote, by any means necessary. Now, for weeks, we have witnessed huge rallies around the world and around this country featuring nothing but vile, virulent, anti-Semitic rhetoric. We've seen swastikas, chants for Israel to be wiped off the map, calls for Jews to be annihilated, and they do all of this while pretending to be peace-loving victims of oppression. It's repulsive. It's disgusting. At Cornell, an Ivy League university, these messages reportedly posted on a university forum, quote, rape and kill the Jew women. Jews are the excrement of the face of the earth. Here's another quote. Glory to Hamas, liberation by any means necessary. Another quote. If you see a Jewish person on campus, follow them home, slit their throats. Rats need to be eliminated from Cornell. Now, sadly, we see similar rhetoric from college professors, including one trans professor, apparently from Chicago, posting the following. Israelis are pigs, savages, very bad people, irredeemable, excrement, may they rot in hell. Look at this image posted to the Huffington Post comparing Jews to Nazis, Gaza to Auschwitz. The Huffington Post claiming that they removed the image right away and disavow the sentiment of their anti-Semitic message. Meanwhile, a Nevada man was just arrested for threatening to kidnap and murder a Jewish U.S. senator. A Foreign Service officer will not be fired by the Biden administration and their State Department after this person called Jews the enemies of God. Overseas, it's even worse. In the Muslim-dominated area of Russia, you have a massive lynch mob storming a regional airport after rumors that a plane full of, quote, Jews from Tel Aviv would be landing. Well, they broke into the terminal and the tarmac looking for the Jews, presumably to capture and kill them. Both the Associated Press and the Washington Post, they just referred to this as a simple protest, just like the 574 riots in the summer of 2020, mostly peaceful. Were they peaceful? Dozens dead, thousands of cops injured, billions in property damage. Oh, and no January 6th-style commission to look at any of that. And Kamala Harris did tweet out the fund, the bail fund, after the police precinct in Minneapolis was burned to the ground. In Turkey, that country's dictator, Erdogan, holding a pro-Hamas rally calling the terrorist organization a liberation group, and now Erdogan and Turkey threatening to join their war against Israel. By the way, Turkey should immediately be kicked out of NATO. They do not share our values. And let us be clear here. Cheering for global Islamic war or praising a group of barbarians, those that intentionally torture and kill babies and even behead them and burn them, or if you're calling for Israel to be wiped off the map, quote, from the river to the sea, or spewing vile rhetoric against Jews, you are not a freedom fighter. You have sided with radicals that want to kill and destroy. If you truly want Palestinians to be free, maybe you should be calling out Hamas that they be wiped out, because they're the ones that have the power. They are the ones that have been killing Israelis. They were responsible for October 7th. They're the ones who charter calls for the destruction of Israel. Hamas uses their fellow Palestinians as human shields. They steal much-needed aid and resources to build these miles and miles of networks of tunnels. They're the ones oppressing women. They're the ones that have no problem killing gays and lesbians. They commit vile acts of terror against Israel and the people of Gaza. They're responsible for any innocent death in Gaza. And last but not least, Hamas does whatever Iran tells them and wants them to do. Does this seem like freedom to you? Now, sadly, so many in this world have lost their way and lost any sense of real moral clarity. Case in point, our own Jennifer Griffin pointing out, can you guess who takes the chair of the UN Human Rights Council on November the 2nd? Okay, I hope you're sitting down. The Islamic Republic of Iran. The UN is a useless organization. Goodbye to the UN, goodbye to the WEF, goodbye to the WHO. Get out of the Paris Climate Accords. Stop wasting our time and money. They are historically anti-American and anti-Semitic. Now, by the way, the same country that just beat a young girl to death in Iran for not wearing a headscarf? Really? The same country now funding terror all over the world? Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.